Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly briefing on January 7th, 2021. I want to wish you all a happy new year and share my hopes that 2021 will be a much better year for all of us than 2020 was. We'll have our usual update from public health today, and then we're turning our focus to winter, which feels appropriate given the beautiful ice that's outside today. I believe we call it hoar ice, or the rhymes of ice on all of the trees and plants. It's just amazing. So we'll be talking about snow and ice removal, and we'll be talking about how to enjoy being outdoors in the winter. And then I'll have a number of other updates as well. But we'll start with Janelle Heinrich, who's the Director of Public Health, Madison Dane County.
Good morning. Like the mayor, I hope you are all well and had a safe and healthy new year. I'll start with the data, as I always do. As of today, we have 34,723 cases of COVID-19, individuals who have been diagnosed since almost 1 year ago in Dane County. 1,345 people have been diagnosed with COVID in the last week. You may have noticed that 753 people were added to our dashboard today. 403 of those individuals are associated with an outbreak at a Dane County Department of Corrections facility. For more information, about this outbreak, I ask that you direct your questions to the Department of Health Services or the Department of Corrections. Even without the Department of Corrections outbreak, our 7-day average is 169 individuals diagnosed with COVID daily. And this is up from a week ago of about 129 from about a week ago. Hospitalizations have stabilized but remain high. Right now, there are 119 people hospitalized with COVID in Dane County. Since December 1st, we have lost 76 family members, friends, and neighbors in Dane County from COVID-19. Today's data snapshot will include more information about the people who have died, and we send our condolences to their family and friends. Though our numbers are still far below the high number of cases we experienced per day in November, we are still experiencing a very high level of activity with a growing trajectory of cases according to the State Department of Health Services. This may be the holiday surge that we were fortunate to avoid after Thanksgiving. We hope that this growth trajectory does not continue to increase. Despite this increase in case counts, we are still able to contact all cases and their close contacts for follow-up. Like many of you, those of us in public health are entering 2021 with the optimism of what a new year can bring and the hope that with the rollout of the COVID vaccine, we are starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Although people in our community have started getting vaccinated, the process will take time, so we can't let our guard down yet. And we need to continue to follow the prevention practices of distancing, masking, and hygiene that have been our mantra for the last year. Dane County is following the Wisconsin Department of Health Services guidelines for vaccine prioritization. People in Tier 1A, frontline healthcare workers, are currently being vaccinated. But so far, only a small fraction of Dane County healthcare workers have been vaccinated so far. As of Monday, nearly 14,000 Dane County residents have been vaccinated with their first dose. Right now, we only receive those numbers once a week. We hope in the future that we'll be able to report more frequently on this. Our agency is charged with vaccinating people in Tier 1A who are not affiliated with a healthcare system. Other providers in Dane County are also administering vaccine to individuals in this group. As of yesterday, PHMDC has administered 1,454 vaccines in about 5.5 days. If you are not a frontline healthcare worker classified as Tier 1A, there is no wait list for a vaccine or any action needed from you at this time. Who will be in Tier 1B has not yet been formalized by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. We do not anticipate that COVID vaccine will be widely available to the general public until spring 2021 or later. Until then, we must all remain vigilant and continue to practice all the things that will keep us well. Please stay home when you're sick, avoid gathering, wear your face covering, and wash your hands often. I know we're fatigued by this, but it's what we need to continue to do so that the second half of 2021 will start to be better than the first. The combination of vaccine and prevention measures will help us in our eventual return to normal. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. So now turning to winter, we're going to hear first from Charlie Romines, who's our street superintendent on snow and ice removal.
Good morning. First, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that when you go out to enjoy the beauty that is Madison, Wisconsin right now, whether it's cross-country skiing, ice skating, or just simply getting out to a place you can take a walk and enjoy the hoarfrost and what the freezing fog is left behind, please be careful traveling around the city. These types of conditions can lead to very localized slick spots, and while the Streets Division, we do rotate supervisors around the clock, keeping an eye on cameras and driving around known areas that do tend to get slick. We can't be everywhere all the time, so particularly in those hours when the sun is down, just please be very, very vigilant when you're out driving around. So approximately a week or two ago, we had sent a memo out that the mayor blogged out around some of the changes, pandemic-really related changes due to changes to our snow and ice response due to the pandemic. And so I was asked here to come today and kind of expand on that memo just a bit. So you're aware, due to attrition and then the budget cuts due to the pandemic, for this winter, we have about 10% less staff available to plow, salt, and sand. Also, because of our efforts to keep our employees safe, some of our newer employees in the non-snow season, we put them into training, which necessarily requires close contact with other operators. So obviously, we could not do that this year. It's also why it didn't make a lot of sense to push for a bunch of new hiring right now, because we can't train them anyway. The good news is that we really don't anticipate any impact on our salt routes and our safety for people traveling in the city. Those are always and will continue to be our highest priority. The salt routes, again, briefly, are about half of our city streets. Those are the ones that get plowed and salted every time we get a snow event. Major thoroughfares, roads around police precincts, fire stations, hospitals, and the like. We do not anticipate any changes there. We still have a very good group of trained operators. We don't anticipate an issue. Where we can run into some problems where certain services that aren't related to travel lanes will be slowed a bit is when we have those long duration events that take 2, 3, 4 days to snow themselves out, that ultimately put down 2, 3 or so inches on the ground. We're going to have fewer people to stretch that overtime, that round-the-clock shifts that we run, to get things done like alternate side parking plowbacks, CSCL area plowbacks, the move-outs where that car that's been sitting on your street for a week and hasn't moved finally moves, and we come by in the middle of the night and tuck that in. Those are really the things that we'll notice a degree of difference. The other area that we may notice a difference is on the general plows. The general plows are where we plow the entire city. Every residential street also gets included in that, and then sand behind that. That may go from typically taking 12 to 16 hours. That may take a little bit longer, just simply because we have a few less people to do it. Again, we wouldn't anticipate any real issue on the salt routes, but some of our residential streets might take just a little bit longer to get completely plowed, sanded, and all the corners tucked and everything put neatly to bed. So again, do not anticipate it really being a safety issue, but having those conveniences of the parking spots cleared off as quick as we all would like to see, roads widened out, some things of that nature might take a little more time, and likely will if we get into stacking events or more general plows than we'd like to see, and people become more tired and fatigued as they have more overtime put upon them. The other part of the memo was really trying to address some of the common complaints or misconceptions that we deal with in the Streets Division when we get into the winter season. One is understanding what is a general plow, and when we go out and plow. We get a lot of complaints around that 2-inch mark. When it snows about 2 inches, a lot of people who live on residential streets, perhaps they've come from other places, but they expect their residential street to be plowed and salted. Again, we only plow those residential streets when we call that citywide general plow. At that time, we plow those out. That's typically when we see 3 or more inches of accumulation. We also wait until the storm is over. So there are times, depending on the duration of the event and how the timing of the cutoff of the snow ends, where while we're waiting for that snow event to stop and then getting ready to go out for the general, it can be maybe a day until your neighborhood gets plowed. That's not a mistake. That's just an effect of the service level. It's the effect of having a very large city that has to all be plowed out. We do bring in contractors for those events, almost 100 pieces of equipment and operators. Another misconception is my neighborhood is always last. I can assure you that no neighborhood is assigned to be first or last. The way it works is each contractor, each city employee who plows is assigned a geographical area, and they go in and they have to plow that whole area out, but we don't route that. So while you might perceive that you are first or last can simply be perhaps the contractor got started a little bit later coming off a previous job. It could be that they had an equipment breakdown, or that we did. It could be that somebody came from the east on one event and came from the north side and got started on the north side of the geographical area for 3 straight events instead of the east where maybe they normally come from. There's a lot of nuance that feeds into it, but at the end of the day, I can just assure you that we are not routing it either internally or with our contractors such that any group is done first or last. There's just a lot of pieces that can feed into that. The other piece is snow in the driveway. This is the complaint that we get. Unfortunately, there's really nothing that can be done here. If you are accustomed to living in areas that don't have curb and gutter, rural roads, or other parts of the country, because there's no curb and gutter, that snow can fall off of the blade as it's going, which means very little is left for your driveway. In a city such as Madison, where we are largely curb and guttered, that gutter basically doesn't allow the snow to fall off the blade. It's even worse when you get a wet, sticky snow. So that snow is looking for the first opportunity to escape the blade. That's your driveway, that's my driveway, that's the mayor's driveway. That's every operator who lives in the city who's putting it in your driveway is also putting it in their own driveway. And when they get home after a 12-hour shift, they have to clear it just the same. So none of us like it. Nobody wants to do it. It's an unfortunate byproduct. If you do, when we do see certain instances, it's rare, but where perhaps a very large amount is put in the driveway, at the end of the plowing, we do attempt to go back and try and help out, but largely we are not able to provide that service because, again, it's just a byproduct of the plowing. Also, again, on the residential streets, we only plow those once they get to 3 inches of accumulation, not at 1 or 2, and we don't put salt, we only put sand. A lot of people want to know why their street, particularly where we have neighborhoods that are split between our municipality and others, where they salt everything down. We in Madison since the 70s have made a judgment call that salting every street, when you sit on top of your own water supply, when wells are getting saltier, is not something that we want to do. So instead what we do is we plow when we get 3 or more inches, and when roads get slick, even if it's less than 3 inches, we do go out and apply sand for traction. So just to try and clear up for folks, those aren't mistakes. Those are purposeful value judgments we've made over time, and I think it helps our water supply in the case of not salting everything. So I hope that clears some of that up for you all. Again, we'll keep the streets safe. just some of those tuck-ins around parking areas that we'd like to see get done quickly, street widening. Some of that will be a little bit slower this winter. Also, I wanted to put a plug in. Next week is Saltwise Week, so please be aware for that. I know Hannah in the PIO and engineering is planning on putting out some pretty neat information and statistics on that, so should be some more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Next, we hear about the fun side of winter from Tracy Hartley from our Parks Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I am Tracy Hartley. I work as a Recreation Services Coordinator with the Parks Division. I'm very excited to share with you today happenings about winter recreation in your local parks. And we do appreciate Streets Division to get everybody out enjoying these winter recreation activities. So thank you, Streets Division. All the information today I'll provide for you is also located on the city website at cityofmadison.com/parks/winter fun. So Madison Parks has worked very hard to plan to ensure for everyone's safety this year. We have changed the way we're running our winter operations and also allowing for additional time for cleaning. With that being said, we do have many opportunities of ice skating, cross-country skiing, sledding, disc golf, and first time this year we're offering fat tire biking. Today I'll highlight those amenities for you. For ice skating, we do have parks on the east side, west side, and also located downtown, all for your enjoyment. We do have skating open at many parks right now. Once we're all open, we'll have a total of 19 rinks at 13 different parks available. On a special note, we'd like to say thank you to our Adopt Ice partners for their time to support additional ice skating here in the city of Madison. So if you could bring out your ice skates, or you're welcome to rent from any of our park locations at Elver, Tenney, or Vilas. For cross-country skiing, we've had great snow. All of the trails are open. You're welcome to bring out your own equipment, or Elver Park does rent to youth and adults. We do have 4 groomed trails that are free to use, and there are 3 parks where a permit is required, and that is for anybody over the ages of 16 years old. And those locations are Elver Park and the golf courses of Odana Hills and Yahara Hills, and all the trails are groomed as conditions allow. The snow loop at Elver Park is created with machine-made snow, and parks receive support from our partners at Central Cross Country Ski and the Madison Norski Ski Club, which helps to extend the skiing season. Currently, there is a 1-kilometer loop there, and we're looking to extend the loop to a 2-kilometer loop to allow for better social distancing. By offering 7 different groomed trails, this gives you an opportunity to take advantage of the winter season. Sledding is definitely open, so you could bring a sled out. A hill you will not forget if you are not familiar with Elver Park. It is lit for nighttime sledding and is also groomed. We do have sleds available for rent or can be purchased at the shelter at Elver. Snowshoeing, that's another great way to get out this winter. We do have a lot of snow, so bring out your own equipment, or this year we are offering a limited supply of snowshoes at Vilas Park. You may snowshoe at any park. We just ask that you stay off the groomed ski trails and then also follow any guidelines as specified on the website. Winter disc golf still continues, and it's at Yahara Hills Golf Course this year. And as far as the new fat tire biking, you could bring out your bike and give this a try. The new temporary trail is located at Sycamore Park Woods, and is maintained through a partnership with Capital Off-Road Pathfinders. And once again, would like to just reiterate the website of citymadison.com/parks/winter-fun, in case you missed anything that I've just explained. I will end today with some expectations at the locations and other important information. A face mask or covering is required. We do ask that you practice social distancing. The warming shelters are closed to the public, so be sure to do a little more bundling up before you leave to get outside. Restrooms are open with adjusted capacity limits when the rinks are open, and there are other locations for rinks that we do offer a portable restroom at. There are no concessions sold this year at Elver, Tenney, or Vilas. However, you're welcome to bring your own snacks, or of course that hot chocolate that keeps you warm during the season at any of the winter locations. We do have modified rental hours at Elver, Tenney, and Vilas. And the biggest change this year is we're not going to be open on Mondays and Tuesdays. Vilas Park Drive is now open for park users and vehicle traffic. And lastly, a couple more notes about the golf courses. The Yarhara Hills and Odanak Hills Golf Course are closed this year. There will not be any equipment rentals, but we do provide portable restrooms there. As far as permits for disc golf and cross-country skiing, those must be purchased online or by calling the parks office at 608-266-4711, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. We also have none of the kiosks are open, and we do not sell permits this year at Elver Park. And lastly, I'd like to finish up with just the website again, because I know this will reiterate where you guys need to go and have fun. So it's citymadison.com/parks/winter fun. So I hope you guys can get out this winter and enjoy with your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy, and I also hope that folks will take advantage of our fantastic park system by getting out and enjoying the snow and the winter. Make sure that you bundle up and stay warm, but it's really important that we, particularly with COVID, that we get outside and get our exercise and see the sky and enjoy the beauty of nature since we're cooped up so much of the rest of the time. I have a number of updates that I want to share and a couple of things to reiterate, but I want to start by just acknowledging what happened in Washington, D.C. yesterday. The attack on the U.S. Capitol yesterday represents an absolutely unprecedented assault on our democracy. Prior to the armed invasion of the Capitol, the President of the United States attacked Wisconsin's, and specifically Madison's, election integrity. Our election was conducted, as it always has been, with professionalism, integrity, and multiple levels of oversight and accountability. Those who attacked the integrity of our elections and encouraged this attempted coup in Wisconsin and around the nation must be held to account. A free and fair democracy and peaceful transitions of power are core values of our nation, and we must preserve them. I want to assure all Madisonians that we are going to get through this, and it is my strong hope that our democracy will be strengthened by the lessons that we have learned over the past few months. Here in Madison, we will continue to do everything we can to make the right to vote accessible to as many of our residents as possible in each and every election. I want to remind you all that we do still have free testing for COVID-19 at the Alliant Energy Center, at least through March 31st of 2021. The test site is a partnership between Public Health, Dane County, and the state of Wisconsin. And to date, we've administered over 330,000 tests at the Alliant Energy Center. That's since May. And that makes it one of the most robust and accessible community testing sites in the state. We're very lucky to have this resource on our doorstep, and I'm very thankful that Public Health is able to continue this critical element of our COVID-19 response. The test site is generally open Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon to 8 p.m., Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's free and available to anyone over 5 years of age. You can arrive by car, by bike, or on foot. You do not need an appointment, and translation is available in Spanish and Hmong, se habla español. You do not need identification, and you will not be asked about your immigration status. You can pre-register in English, Spanish, and Hmong, and we encourage you to pre-register in order to get through the site as quickly as possible. That site is register.covidconnect.wi.gov. Free transportation to the testing site is available for those who need it. You can call Public Health's transportation line at 608-243-0420, and test results are provided by email or a phone call within 3 to 7 business days. And I want to thank again all of the folks at Public Health that make this possible. Also, on the public health front, I just want to reiterate what Janelle said and asking for patience with the process of vaccination. As you know, we have a number of people who have received the first dose of the vaccine here in Madison, and we are proceeding through the priority groups as vaccine becomes available. But please continue to be patient, and please continue to adhere to the public health guidelines and recommendations, even as more and more people become vaccinated. Until we have really widespread vaccination, we all need to continue to keep ourselves safe. So again, please wash your hands frequently or sanitize. Maintain that 6 foot of distance. If you're with other people outside of your household, if you can take it outside, please do, but certainly maintain that 6 feet of distance and wear the mask. We all have the power to protect each other and to support one another to keep each other healthy until there is widespread vaccination. I want to turn back to elections for a moment. The candidate filing deadline for seat 1 on the Madison Metropolitan School Board has been extended. The deadline to file papers to run for seat 1 on the school board is 5 p.m. on Friday, January 8th. That filing deadline is extended whenever an incumbent not running for re-election does not file the declaration of non-candidacy by the deadline. So consider running for school board. If you still have your Christmas tree, our Friendly Streets Division will come and pick it up for you. There is a final round of tree pickup beginning on January 19th. So first of all, just trees. Don't place wreaths, rope, garlands, boughs, etc. out for collection. Those belong in the trash. And anything that has wires or metal that could damage the wood chipping equipment, please don't put out with your tree. But if you want to have your tree collected on the curb, remove your tree stand, remove all of your decorations, remove any tree bags or anything besides the tree itself. Put it on the terrace or at the edge of the road where it's accessible to the collection crews. And you need to set it out by 6:30 a.m. on January 19th. So maybe get it out a little bit before that. Otherwise, you'll potentially miss the pickup. You can also drop it off at one of our Streets Division drop-off sites on either Badger Road or Sycamore Ave. And just be aware of those winter hours, 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, if you want to go to a drop-off site. Charlie mentioned that Salt Awareness Week is coming up. And it's very important, particularly given the amount of snow that we're seeing, that we all pay a lot of attention to how much salt we're using out on our sidewalks or driveways or other places. We are asking everyone to help reduce our salt use when we're removing ice and snow this winter, and to join the Wisconsin Saltwise Coalition and learn about salt use during Salt Awareness Week, which is January 11th through 15th. City Engineering is going to have a number of resources available between the 11th and the 15th on social media, so you can find them on Facebook and on Twitter, and I think also Instagram. And those resources will help you learn about how to reduce your salt use and still effectively clear snow and ice. They're also hosting, the Wisconsin Saltwise Coalition is hosting half-hour live stream conversations each day next week from 12:30 to 1 p.m. On a range of topics, including looking at the impact of salt on our freshwater ecosystems, protecting your pets from salt, keeping salt out of our drinking water, and how to put your house or business on a low salt diet. That's a low road salt diet, although probably the other one is a good idea too. So I encourage you all to tune into those and to just really pay attention and help us reduce the amount of salt that's going into our aquifers, our drinking water, and our lakes. It only takes 1 teaspoon of salt to permanently pollute 5 gallons of water. So this is really important for our community. All right, in good news, the City Council has adopted new requirements for electric vehicle charging. On Tuesday evening, the requirements were passed by the Council. And I want to thank Alder Abbas for his leadership on this. This will require at least 10% of newly constructed parking for multifamily residential and some commercial uses to be EV ready, which means that the infrastructure is in place to add EV charges, and that 2%, between 1 and 2% of the stalls actually have chargers installed and available for use. The legislation is designed to support residents who are renters in overcoming a key barrier to owning an electric vehicle, which is reliable access to charging. Nearly 41% of our carbon emissions in Madison come from cars. And so given our city goal of having a net zero carbon emissions by 2050, we really do need to make progress on reducing emissions from cars, and electric vehicles are one really important way to do that. If we're serious about meeting these climate goals, we absolutely have to transition to clean technologies, and we have to build a city that embrace those technologies. So again, I want to thank Alder Abbas, and I want to thank the long list of other alders that co-sponsored that legislation. On vehicles, turning to parking, I just want to remind folks that we have set the maximum daily rate in our city-owned parking garages and the Brayton lot at $8 a day. So while normally it might cost you more than that to park for a full day, we are capping the rate at $8. And that temporary rate reduction will continue to provide a low-cost parking option for residents, workers, and businesses during our hopeful recovery from COVID-19. We are also supporting our small business community through the Small Business Equity and Recovery Program. This is in addition to hopeful assistance from the federal government, the state, and the county, but this is our local response to support our small businesses that are impacted by COVID-19. So this grant program is available to small businesses. It preferences small businesses owned by disadvantaged folks. That might be people of color, women, or other categories. In November, we received 128 eligible applications. 65 of those have been approved, and 18 are still in the review process. The average grant amount awarded was just over $6,000. We're currently reviewing the December applications. We received almost 300 applications in December, and estimate that the total requested grant amount in December is over $1.5 million. So there's a lot of need out there. This innovative and equity-driven grant process, I hope, will enhance Madison's resiliency during one of the toughest economic times that the city has ever seen. We need to keep our local Madison businesses strong while also addressing the long-seated inequities in our economic landscape. And I'm proud that this grant program really does work on both those fronts. Obviously, we do need further state and federal funding. The city can't do it on our own. And I continue to advocate with both state and federal officials for the aid that's necessary for our residents and businesses. We also, each one of us can, in our daily decisions about where we spend our money, choose to support our local businesses. And I encourage you to do so in a way that is safe and healthy. I really am happy to announce that our Green Power program is hiring. We're looking for our next class of Green Power program trainees to join the city engineering division. The application is now available. Green Power is a program where trainees learn how to install solar panels even if they have little or no prior electrical experience, and it can help put folks on a potential career path in the trades. The program's been growing since 2016, and since its start, our trainees have installed more than 17 complete solar systems at city facilities. City Engineering is offering a number of resources to support anybody who's considering applying for this program. There will be virtual question and answer sessions. There's a video available to watch and to learn more about what the program is like. So you could register for a question and answer session. There's one 6 p.m. tonight, January 7th. There's one 4:30 p.m. on January 9th. And so if you're interested in this program, please visit cityofmadison.com and click on engineering, or you can contact engineering's public information officer, Hannah Malinsky, at 608-669-3560. Monona Terrace is inviting you to share how you have gotten into crafting or other creative projects during the pandemic. They are putting together a virtual event on March 6th, which will showcase videos of Madison area people who love to create and want to share that with other people. They're inviting video submissions through February 1st. Space is limited, and it will be competitive. All ages and all making activities are welcome to submit. You can get more information at mononaterrace.com/MadisonMakes, and they'll walk you through there how you can submit a video. Also in good news, we have a regular award process called the Team City Awards, are designed to recognize great public servants who work for the City of Madison on a bi-monthly basis. These awards go to employees who go above and beyond the call of duty and embody the city's mission, vision, and values. And so I just want to briefly congratulate our last round of Team City Award winners: Emily Anderson from the Treasurer's Office, Sarah Lim from Community Development, Joel Stelter and Michael Franklin from the Police Department, James Valenza from Traffic Engineering, and Nay Vang from the Assessor's Office. If you know or see these folks, give them a congratulations. They did some great work for us, and stay tuned for future Team City Award winners. Finally, I'll end as I always do with community resources and upcoming meetings. We have a housing helpline. If you're homeless or in danger of losing your housing, you can email housinginfo@cityofmadison.com or call 608-264-0549. If you need assistance with internet or phone service, you can call the State Public Service Commission at 608-267-3595. If you need help finding a child care provider, you can call 608-216-7022. To identify nearby emergency food options or get connected to a broad array of other social services, you can call United Way at 211, or you can text your zip code to 898-211. The city is also offering financial navigators and a financial resource hotline to help folks navigate financial issues related to the COVID-19 pandemic. The website for that is cityofmadison.com/financial hotline, or call 608-315-5151. These resources and more are posted at cityofmadison.com. On the homepage, click on the Community Resources link. A few upcoming meetings of note. These meetings are all virtual, and you can learn more about them at cityofmadison.com. Click on the meetings calendar link, and there you will find agendas, minutes from previous meetings, the whole meetings calendar, and how to register for these meetings. Today, the 7th at 5, there is a Madison Public Library Board meeting. At 5:30, the Community Development Block Grant Committee meets. Also at 5:30, the Affirmative Action Committee meets. And at 6 p.m., the Body-worn Camera Feasibility Review Committee will meet. On Monday, January 11th at 4:30 p.m., there's a Finance Committee meeting. At 5, there's a Landmarks Commission meeting. And at 5:30, the Police and Fire Commission will meet. On Wednesday, January 13th at 4:30, the Urban Design Commission will meet. At 5, the Transportation Commission will meet. And at 5:30, the Education Committee will meet. And that is my list for today. And so thank you all for tuning in. We'll see if we have any questions today.
We do not have questions today, Mayor.
All right, so there are no questions today. Thank you all for watching the briefing. We will be back next week, same time, same station. Happy New Year, everybody, and stay healthy.